Kali Kalyecha Vidmahi Smashanavasyaya Dhimahi Tano Kali Prachodayat. Om Krim Kalikaye Namaha. The blessing of Kali is that you become Shiva. Shiva is the perfection of Saturn. Shiva is the perfect yogi. I want to talk about fasting and austerities and making sankalpas or vows, and how this will help tremendously on the path of spiritual growth, particularly an accelerated path of spiritual growth, or when we are encountering resistant obstacles in our lives. First, I'd like to tell you the story about Milarepa. Milarepa, one of the greatest yogis of all times, had actually been a murderer. And because he had killed so many people and done black magic, he was terrified of what would happen when he died. So he went searching, after he had a change of heart, for a guru. And eventually he ended up with his teacher, Marpa. Marpa was an enlightened guru who knew the heavy karmic load that Milarepa had because of his actions. So he put basically Milarepa through hell. And he couldn't tell him why he was so mean to him or why he was so demanding, because if he did, that would change the way Milarepa was experiencing, particularly his attitude. So one of the things he made him do was he made him build a house made of rocks that Milarepa had to carry one rock at a time and stack it at the top of a hill. And when the house was completed, Marpa would come and look at the house and say, "Oh, that's not good enough. You need to take it all apart, one rock at a time, put the rock back, get another rock, and build the house all over again." Multiple times, Milarepa built a house of rocks for Marpa. And he thought Marpa hated him, but still, he knew he had nowhere else to go because of this negative karma. Marpa secretly would pray for him every night that Milarepa wouldn't leave, but he couldn't tell him that, and Milarepa didn't leave. Milarepa went through it. Basically, Saturn is a rock, and that was his karma being purified, so that Milarepa became so enlightened he could fly through the skies. When we think about our own life and the things that we can't get over, one rock at a time, and how no matter how hard we try, we can't seem to make progress, there could be some truth to that as far as material manifestation. However, when you look at those things like the rocks that Milarepa carried, we could possibly consider that these austerities of our lives are meant to set us free, even though they feel like they are confining and oppressing us and limiting us even more as time goes on. When we decide to take the path of a yogi, or one who seeks union with the darkness and the light within them, we can use Milarepa as an example, and the idea of austerities, or the idea of putting ourselves under slight discomfort for a period of time with an intention behind it. And this is what I want to talk about as far as fasting goes, because we can fast for many things. We can fast for many things at once. It could be food, it could be speaking, it could be multiple things. The point is that a lot of people fast for health, which is because there are many health benefits. But beyond that, when we do spiritual fasting and we use certain rituals in alignment with the abstaining from food or from certain foods, then we are creating a whole entire magical equation in our lives that has profound transformative effects. And I know because I have experimented on myself with these practices for many years, decades even. Right now, I'm in the midst of another 10-day water fast. As an example, several months ago I did a 10-day water fast, but before the fast began, I went to the river with some black sesame seeds, which we offer to Saturn. And I did a specific mantra at the river and offered the sesame seeds to the river. as a vow of the fast I would be doing, and what I wanted to gain from that fast, and how I wanted to purify whatever it was in my life. I made that vow in the beginning, successfully completed the fast, and manifested what I had vowed to manifest. Now on this fast, I used a fire ritual. I offered the sesame seeds with mantras into the fire, and I wrote down 10 things. It could be 3 things, it could be 1 thing. I wrote down 10 things, just so happens, that I wanted to transform on a piece of paper. And after I did the mantras, I offered those papers into the fire. And every day for the next 10 days, I will remember each one of those things. And I will understand that when I'm doing these practices during the abstaining of food, I am doing it for a reason and a purpose. And these vows are very important. And besides what we're transforming in our lives because of it, we're strengthening our character when we stick with something and when we make a commitment and we don't turn back from it, no matter what. So there's a level of maturity involved in that, and a level of self-awareness, like how much can I handle? Don't make extreme commitments that you can't endure, but then again realize that you're going to have those moments when it feels like you might not want to endure. So I did that, and then every day I will do the exact spiritual practices that I vowed to do for the next 10 days, with the end objective of becoming a better person, a stronger person, a more capable person, and a person who's able to move a little bit closer, mastering their life. Now let's talk about different possibilities of what fast we would choose and for how long. That really just depends on you and your level of experience. You can do a mono diet where you pick one thing and eat it. You can do a water fast. You can do lemon water, maple syrup fast. You can do many, it's up to you, the choice. I'm doing a water fast and for 10 days, but I have a lot of experience with fasting. And I would like to give you an idea of how this works. So our liver stores sugars, basically, that we live on. And our body generally runs on carbohydrate or sugar. Once that is burned away, the storage of glucose, which is about a day or two, you're going to have a period after the second day where it feels like it's really, really hard. And then all of a sudden your body, when it realizes you're not giving it any more sugar, will switch to burning fat. When your body switches to burning fat, it is called autophagy. Autophagy is that your body is now burning off dead, diseased, old cells. This is a physical thing. It is looking through your blood, it is looking through your joints, it is looking through all the things it's pushed aside to digest your food, to get you through the day, and it's burning those things for fuel now. Which is why sometimes people get headaches, they feel bad, but that period also passes, and you don't feel hungry anymore. But keep in mind that when your body is burning these toxins that are in your body, it is also correlating with mental and emotional toxins and the past in general. So, diseased and old cells, diseased and old memories and thoughts, it all goes together. And it especially works together when you have that intention and that awareness that it works together. Because it is the awareness and the intention that will change the end result. While fasting in general will create a good effect overall, when you do it as a spiritual practice with certain components involved, as I mentioned, you're going to get a breakthrough in your life without a doubt. And you are going to change. You are going to feel younger. You're going to look younger. You're going to feel lighter because you are. Because what aging is it is gravity pulling us down. It is the weight of our baggage that we've been dragging so long, becoming heavier and heavier. And we slouch over and we drag and we hang and we're gray because it's so tiring dragging the past behind us for so long. And that past is stored in our bodies like things we've inhaled from the environment, all the toxins in the world today. It's all jarring our body. And we're so used to living like that, we don't know. And the more toxic we are emotionally, mentally, and physically, the harder it is to fast. However, all the more important. Therefore, a little wisdom is good to know where to start and what to start with and how to commence. So realize that we have a lot more power to transform our reality, and when we're in the midst of a spiritual awakening, we have a lot more choices than we may realize, that we can have a complete new reality just by making that so-called sacrifice for a week or 10 days or even 3 days is better than no days. Anything that gives immediate gratification will not give long-lasting results. Generally, immediate gratification ends up bringing us down in the end. It's when we really apply the discipline and the results take an effort to achieve that we can attain lasting benefits and blessings. And when we become a person who is able to do these things on a regular basis, once a year, twice a year, at the change of every season, and understand how our body is actually a magical equation of what we're putting in and taking out and how we're seeing it and what we're working through our consciousness, then we understand the power of life and the power that we have with whatever small amount of resources we have even. It doesn't take a lot to completely enliven and rejuvenate our existence. First, we have to get rid of the old, and then we have to fill up and rejuvenate with the new. First, we have to get rid of the darkness and come to terms with it and process it. And the processing part can be messy, but we have to stick with it. And this is how Kali turns us into Shiva, because Kali is the processor. Kali is the pain of that transformation. And so we call on her for strength to endure the processing, really. On the other side of that turmoil and that transformation is the lofty light that sees from a great distance above the smallness of the trivial things of our life. In total equanimity and serenity and peace, blessings of Shiva can be ours. But it takes effort, because Saturn requires that one rock at a time. But the truth is, it gets easier. It's just that people think it's going to be so hard, for example, fasting, and so they stop. But there are tricks you can do to get through those hard times, such as when you have really low blood sugar, say you're water fasting, or you're just doing lemon and water, or lemon water and a little bit of honey, and you feel like you can't go on. There's a couple things you can do. Rather than just breaking the fast, you'd be surprised what a miracle a teaspoon or up to a tablespoon of honey can do to put you right back to feeling good again, because your brain is just needing the sugar. And if you just do that and give it a few more hours, you can probably endure and continue with your vow. Also, if you take a green powder when you start getting low blood sugar, after the second day or whenever, you can even do a fast on green powders, meaning spirulina, or even if you know what vitamin mineral green is, you can take that when you're feeling hunger pangs or low blood sugar, and that will balance your blood sugar. You can do a fast on spirulina. You can do a fast that includes honey or small amounts of maple syrup, say in the Master Cleanse. But the key is to make a discipline and stick with it, and don't give yourself any room for a little bit of this or a little bit of that, because that will take you out of the fast. It's the mind that wants to wear away your willpower. But it's also the mind that goes, hey, fasting's a great idea. So the mind has all these different things depending, and its moods are always changing. And so when we do the mantras and the rituals, we connect with something more powerful than our fickle, ever-changing mind. We want long-lasting, permanent results and a transformation of our character and a lightening of our souls. And we want to believe in ourselves, master our life, and have hope and inspiration. And something as easy as making it through a 3-day fast, a 5-day fast, a 7 or 10-day fast can give you those things. It's a great time of year to consider a breakthrough. Om Namah Shivaya.